back, you guys. It is your girl, Kiera Shanice, of course, and I am here back with another review, y'all. And I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all already know what we here to talk about. We are here to talk about All American Season 3, Episode 4 and 5. I'm gonna squeeze that up in here so I ain't gonna hold y'all long. So let's get into it. Oh, and I forgot to tell y'all. Welcome to all the new people that have not watched me before and new subscribers. I'm seeing y'all, and I'm just so grateful that you guys are actually subscribing and watching. And if you're new here, welcome to the family, girl. Let's get into this review. Okay, episode 4 starts off. We have Spencer, and he meets up with his therapist, Dr. Spears, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Dr. Spears. And okay, we're gonna skip that part. Okay. Episode 4 starts off. We have Darnell. We see him. He's packing his stuff. He's been living with James's for a while. So he's packing his stuff, getting ready to go see about his mom. And we're gonna get more information about, the status of his mother later on in the episode. Okay, switch scenes. We got Coop and Spencer at the school. They kicking this shit, before class and whatnot. And Spencer, he was letting her know that song that you and Patience did, that song kind of hit. And, I appreciate what you said about me, about me being your brother from another mother. I really appreciate that. Anyway, then we have the guidance counselor, y'all. She rolls up on Spencer and Coop, and you would have thought that was somebody's mama or something. And she rolls up and she basically tells Coop that she is still at a junior status because apparently Coop has been skipping out on school to advance her music career, and she pretty much failed the last semester of her junior year, and she has classes to make up. And the counselor, she's been trying to reach out to her, and Coop's just been ducking and dodging the lady. And she pretty much lets her know, look, you either gonna make up these classes or you not graduating, pretty much. And here goes Spencer being Captain Saver because Coop wanna be a dumbass as usual. Okay, so now we are at the baker's residence. And Billy and Laura, they are just in the kitchen getting ready for dinner like he didn't just move out last week. Right? Anyway, and Jordan, he walks in, and to everybody else's surprise, and my surprise too, it is Daddy Baker. What his name? Senior Baker. I don't even know the man's name. Billy Baker's daddy. He in there, and they're like surprised. I want to know what the hell he doing there. Me too. And we get to see that Senior Baker, he just cannot stand Laura Baker. He jumps right into it. He addresses the lady as D.A. Baker. He doesn't even call her name. Anyway, he walks right in, and he said something about he heard how she's been helping out black people, and told this woman that still wasn't gonna get her an invite to the cookout. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get through this one quick, y'all, because I'm gonna do 2 of them. So we have Spencer, and he is at his session with his sports therapist, I think, Dr. Spears, and they're talking about, what could possibly be the cause of stress, what's going on, and he tells him, the usual, the South Crenshaw thing, championship, his little fallout with Jordan, and Darnell moving back home, the usual. And Dr. Spears, he points out that all of these things started happening, after the numbness in his arm. So it is something that he is not quite processing, someone, it could be anything that he is not processing, and they are calling it a stuck point, and we are going to get into that later on. And we switch back over to the scene with Darnell. Child, Darnell is still packing. Like, how much shit did he bring? Anyway, let me be serious. Dylan and Spencer, they're, trying to be there for Darnell, and they're talking to him, and Darnell, he's just really, kind of numb to everything right now, and I personally, I can relate to, him in a situation like that, because when I'm kind of going through something, in life, I, I withdraw from the people that, I care about the most. And it's not that I'm angry with, I just like to go through my shit alone. So I understand that part. But this ain't about me. We are at Beverly High School, and the coach, they having a team meeting about their last game, and Asher gets called out. He gets caught not paying attention to what's going on, and the coach, she calls him out. She chews him out, and at this point, this lady, she just seems to not really care for Asher at all. Okay, then we get Mrs. James, Grace James, and Spencer, and they are talking about his upcoming therapy session. And as we talked about the last time, I don't know if I missed that part or not, but Dr. Spears, he gave Spencer an assignment to, write down the details of the night that he was shot. And that he was saying that sometimes the subconscious mind, it suppresses things, and writing it helps you kind of get it out. And Spencer, he's talking to his mom, and he was saying that he don't know if he's really quite ready to revisit that night, and he's kind of apprehensive about this assignment. And his mother, Grace, she just really talks to him and gives him the best motherly advice. I would say that she could have given at that point. She pretty much lets him know that he needs to go. He needs to do this assignment, because there are so many black and brown kids out here walking around with PTSD due to shit, just living in the hood. And she made some great points about that, and how sometimes we can become so desensitized to what's going on around us. We just chalk it up to shit, another day in the hood, and not knowing that we are actually walking around harboring a lot of trauma, you know. But I ain't gonna get too deep. Okay, moving on. And we had the girls. They are chilling at the cafe, and ooh, child, I hope y'all was able to hear that that first little bit of the episode, cause I didn't even have my mic hooked up, and I'm not recording it again. So we just gonna continue. Where do we leave off? But Coop and Patience are at the cafe, and not Coop, but Patience, she brings up the fact that the guidance counselor pretty much told her that if Coop doesn't get her shit together, she will be a full-fledged senior next school term. And Patience was there to let her know, look, you need to get your shit together, because I ain't going to no senior prom with no junior. Okay. Anyway, so they meet up with Layla, and, Patience, she's eager to find out if Layla was able to actually get her out of that contract with her, her dad, J.P. Keating. And, Layla pretty much let her know that, it is far more complicated than we thought, but I am working on it. And, they also, were there to ask her to produce a new music video for that, little song that they put out. And she agreed, so I'm looking forward to, seeing what that looks like. A bit. Okay, so now we are at the little restaurant where Spencer works at back in Beverly Hills. And I don't even know why he's still working there. So Spencer is getting off work, and he's putting his jacket on, and he looks up and he sees Olivia, standing in the to-go line. And child, things are still kind of weird between them, but he walks up anyway. And, they get the little conversation started. He's like, those some dope kicks or whatever. And she was like, these are just my little dance class that we teach over at the rec center with the kids, her and Kia. He happened to mention something about the documentary Rise that they showed him, and Child Spencer broke out into this little crumping thing, and we got to meet Child Professor Crump, or whoever he thought he was, and that it was just so cute to see, their little flirtation back and forth. I'm living for it. Anyway, so, they cut to the chase, and Spencer, he pretty much wants Olivia to know that He knows that, what happened this summer kind of changed things in their friendship, but she's been there, for Spencer day one. She was the first person that he met. The first person that he was actually comfortable being himself around. And pretty much he misses his friend. And they give each other the cutest little hug. Oh my god, my heart just melted, you guys. Anyway, moving on. We have Jordan and Simone. I know this is off topic, but Simone looks exactly like one of my coworkers. One of my old coworkers, not a coworker anymore. She looks just like her. I ain't gonna say her name. Okay, so we know Jordan. He's been trying to reach Simone for a while now, and she's kind of been, blowing him off. So they end up going on a drive, and she pulls up to this house, some random house, and she goes to let Jordan know that that is where her son's adoptive parents live, and she is considering, taking back guardianship over her son. And the next scene, we have Senior Baker. I need to figure out this man's name. But we have Senior Baker, Billy Baker's dad, and he's pretty much, come to, see Billy and let him know that he really needs to tighten the reins on Jordan and get his head on straight, because that little thing he has going on with Simone and the baby and the adoptive parents, it is kind of making him lose focus. And Billy, he is not having it. He doesn't want to hear it. And he tries to check his dad, and he lets him know, look, don't speak about stuff you don't know about. This is my son. I got him. And I will have to interject and say that I'm with the daddy on this one. He may be an asshole, but he's right about Jordan. This kid, his mind is in the clouds. I mean, his nose must be from here to here because Simone got it wide open. In the next scene, we have boss chick Layla, and she goes up into her dad's record label, and she's there, to kind of give him the business about patience and trying to get her released from her contract. And she runs into an intern or some sort, I'm guessing, and he lets her know that, your dad's not here, but I can tell you right now, like, patience is not getting out of that contract. Meaning he pretty much breaks it down, to her about how slimy the music industry is. And Layla, she kind of got a dose of reality because, shit, her daddy is the biggest crook of them all. Quiet as kept. Okay, so this is the moment that I've been waiting on, y'all. So we have Spencer, and he is with that in the session. I think I probably already told y'all. But anyway, he is in the session with Dr. Spears, and they're going over the details of the night of the shooting, and they somehow get on the topic of Olivia, and how she's just really been there for Spencer, and he's been there for her since day one, and shit, Spencer got more day ones than Moses. But anyway, anyway. It is just so cute because he is just going on and on and on. And I'm like, can we get Darius in here and let him do a blues for Nina? Because this boy is jonesing. Anyway, let me get serious. Dr. Spears asks Spencer, who does he, blame for the shooting? And of course, Spencer, he's like, Tyrone. And, he was like, he set the whole thing up. And of course, but Spencer, he's like, well, Tyrone, he can't be my stuck point because my feelings are very clear on him. And Dr. Spears gets even deeper, and he was like, your stuck point doesn't really have to be a person. It can be a place, a thing, it can be anything. And he actually challenges Spencer to actually write down his thoughts in detail and in depth of that night. And that'll kind of help him figure out, who he really harboring these type of feelings about. that's causing you know him this trauma and stress and arm going numb and shit. On to Jordan Baker. He really needs a dose of reality. I mean, his head is so far up Simone's behind that he is just off doing all types of stupid shit. Jordan then took his behind over to Simone's son's adoptive parents' house. And the man came out in the yard. He proceeds to tell the man that he is Simone's boyfriend and Simone is the mother of his son and she wants to take the baby back. That man must have ran Jordan ass off and told him, don't you come back around here no more. And I don't blame him. What the hell you showing up to these folks' house for? That baby ain't got nothing to do with you. You know, you ain't got nothing to do with that. Leave that alone. Stay out there for business. And now we are going to move on to Spencer and Darnell. Spencer, he goes to find Darnell, you know, at the school, of course. And, you know, Spencer, he just, you know, basically comes right on out and asks Darnell, you know, like, did we do something wrong? Like, you know, he wants to know why Darnell is being so distant. You know, we find out a little bit more about Darnell. We actually find out that Darnell is actually a military kid. Well, we kind of knew that, but we get more in depth. And he moved around a lot, you know, and Crenshaw was the first place that actually, you know, kind of felt home. And he's kind of, you know, hard on himself because he feels like he let himself get too comfortable and you know, he doesn't want to leave, you know, but, you know, what's he gonna do, you know, bail on his mom? So, okay, we are having dinner at the Bakers, and Olivia, she is telling, you know, Senior Baker about all of her activism in the community and everything that, you know, that she's doing for the community. His asshole self, he's gonna say, I thought I was the last radical baker in his family. But anyway, we get Jordan, you know, at dinner. He announces that he may not be going to the team photo shoot. And Senior Baker, he was like, let me guess, it has something to do with that girl. And Billy Baker, he jumps right on in to Jordan's defense. I love it. But he wrong. He jumps right on in to Jordan's defense. And he's like, you know, I'm sure, you know, he has an explanation of what's going on. He asks him what's going on. And the first thing comes out of his mouth was Simone needs, and they are just up to here with this. Simone needs this and Simone needs that. And quite frankly, I am too. Simone is not no baby. She can walk on her own. Okay? She don't need you to spoon feed her throughout every aspect of her life. She can do this on her own. She got this, okay? She got this. And the Bakers see now that, shoot, maybe Senior Baker was right about Jordan, and it's time to have a real sit down with him because he is putting a lot of his future at stake for a relationship that may not even last past high school, being honest. Okay, so now we switch over to the James residence, and Spencer and Mrs. James and Dylan, they've all decided to get together and throw Darnell this going away surprise party. And it turned out, you know, pretty good. It turned out great. And Cam, he actually showed up to support Darnell and be there for him. You know, him and Spencer, they kind of put their differences aside for, you know, for the sake of brotherhood and family. But the bromance doesn't end here. And we have Jordan outside. He's actually outside sitting on the chair. And Spencer, he damn, I smacked my leg hard. Spencer, he walks outside, and him and Jordan, they talk. And you can tell Jordan, he misses Spencer. And, you know, he has so much he wants to get off his chest, and he just busts out and spill out his guts about him and his dilemma with the team's photo shoot and meeting up with Simone's son's adoptive parents, which I got nothing to do with him. But anyway, Spencer being Spencer, he gives him the brotherly advice, and he lets him know, you know, sometimes in life we have to, you know, let the people that we love make their own decisions. I'm just paraphrasing. Make their own decisions, and we gotta trust that they are capable of making decisions on their own. And I think Simone, she can handle it, and we're gonna see how that affects Jordan's decision on whether he's going to the photo shoot or to be with Simone. Okay, so now we have Spencer. He is narrating and writing, about the events that led up to his shooting. And the more he's writing, I think the more he's realizing that his relationship with Coop has been, kind of one-sided and shit, quite toxic if you ask me. But the more he's writing, he's realizing that he's harboring feeling some kind of way about his friendship with Coop. And I'm gonna stop right here. And I just love, how they kind of, tie in the situation with Coop and Spencer and the situation with Layla and her dad. They kind of like, parallels. You have, on one hand, you love this person, and on the other hand, this person ain't shit. So you kind of like stuck in the middle. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I see it. And meanwhile, we have Layla, boss chick Layla. She done found a loophole in Patience's contract that she had with J.P. Keating. Turns out that Patience was actually a minor when she signed that contract, and I believe she didn't really have no legal guardian or parents there with her when she signed it, so contract might be void. We gonna see. We see Simone. She is at the house that her adoptive son's parents live at, and we can see that she is there alone. So obviously Jordan made the right decision, and he did what was best for Jordan, and that was to be there for his teammates and let Simone take care of her own personal business and trust that she will be okay. Right? What's next? She walks up to the door, she knocks. The guy, he comes out and he, wants to know, like, he was like, what are you doing here? My wife and son are in there. And the wife, she comes to the door, and Simone sees how happy that couple, how happy they are, and their wife, how happy she is to have that baby. And immediately she knows that she has made, she's made a mistake, and she tries to get out of there. And the dad, he calls her back, and he invites her to be a part, essentially be a part of her son's life, somewhat. And I think that was really cool for them to do that, because they didn't have to. They could have called the police on her after that little stunt Jordan pulled earlier. But I think that was a great idea for them, because I can see that there was a huge weight lifted off of Simone, because deep down, on one hand, she wanted to make sure that her son was okay, and that he was being loved and taken care of the way that she wanted him to be loved and taken care of. And on the other hand, she knew that she wasn't quite ready to be a full-time mom. So that was a huge weight off of her shoulders, and I'm glad, because I low-key didn't want her to get that baby, because, girl, like, no. No, not saying that teen moms can't do it. Let me clear that up, make that disclaimer. Not saying that teen moms cannot do it, but at this point, you done gave the baby away already. I can see if she was thinking about it and she changed her mind before, she gave him up. But at this point, she gave the baby away already. And then that would be just cruel and unusual punishment to do that to a couple that, went years and years and years trying to conceive. And finally got their blessing, and you come here and talk about, I want my baby back. So slippery slope. We're going to wrap up episode 4 with Spencer. He is finally realizing that him being Captain Saver all the time has resulted in, a lot of stress and unwanted and unneeded stress and trauma. And he is, coming to the realization, that his relationship with Coop has been toxic and shit, downright traumatic, being that he is suffering from PTSD. Okay, y'all, I know there was a lot to digest and a lot to unpack, but guess what? It doesn't end here. we're gonna get right on into episode 5, baby. You're getting a twofer today. A two for one. Okay. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Thought we were gonna do this 4 and 5 together, but you know what? If y'all watched that last video, that snowboarding video, you guys will see that we are having some very, very, very strange weather here in Mississippi. So your girl had to go and get prepared, make provisions, you know, get a little extra water. We woke up this morning and the water was off. Anyway, this ain't about me. We're about to get into episode 5, okay? Episode 5 starts off, we are at Beverly Hills High School, and you know, Beverly Hills, they're playing their, like, I think their second game. You know, everything seems to be going good. Jordan, he is killing it out on the field, and boom, all of a sudden he takes a nasty hit, and it looks pretty bad, you guys. They have to go and get the medics. They bring him back, and it looks like it is a concussion. So Jordan, he has to sit out the last quarter of this game, and of course he doesn't want to do that. So then we are going to switch over to Crenshaw High School. They are on their second game, I believe, also, and it is not looking good for them at all. Chris and Spencer are not at the top of their game. I don't know what's going on, but they talking about winning the state title. Let's hope they are even in the running for the state title after this tragedy of a game. And then we're gonna switch on over to Patience and Coop. They at their little favorite hangout spot. And Coop, she is telling Patience that, it's strange that she really hadn't been able to, reach Spencer. She's been reaching out to him, and he ain't really been hitting her back like that. And we go and look over, and we see Mo. She's over there, doing what Mo does, whatever that is. And she's surrounded by a bunch of people as usual. Looks like, she's giving out some type of legal advice and offering her legal aid to people in the community. And she happens to overhear Layla telling Coop about her little situation with JP Keating and her contract. And she interjects, and she actually offers her services to Layla. She actually offers her services to Patience, for free. She was going, Coop being Coop. We don't need your card or your ear hustling. Let's go. Okay, so we got Billy and Chris. Hey, girl. She want to get in the shot. Anyway, we got Billy and Chris. They are out on the field doing I think early morning practice or weekend practice, because Chris has really been this is his first time playing in an actual game since his his accident, his injury. And he has really lost his confidence. That can happen to a lot of players once they are injured in the magnitude that Chris was injured. And so Billy, he has him out there. They're running plays. We get to see what Billy Baker's working with. He's out there in his old Crenshaw jersey running plays. And he asked Chris, everything seems fine. You prove that you can take a hit, and I'm starting to think it's more to it than you actually letting on. Talk to me, let me know what's going on. And Chris was like, he just, the game just feels different. And, he really doesn't know why, but, he's going to get it together. And Billy, he says, okay, but you can really tell that he's not really believing Chris. And he may have to consider replacing his QB1. Okay, so now we have Spencer, and he is at his session with Dr. Spears. And Spencer, he's finally, admitting first to himself and also Dr. Spears that he's really feeling some type of way about Coop right about now, and he actually blames her for his shooting. Finally got that off his chest, and he asks, Dr. Spears, what's next? Why I said what I had to say. What's next? What can I do to, kind of get this arm back going? And the answer is just that simple: is you got to tell Coop the truth. And Spencer, he's really not trying to hear that. He's like, she's happy right now and her music career is taking off. Her happiness means a lot to me and I don't want to do that. And the doctor just tells him flat out, look, it's either you protecting Coop or you protecting yourself by, getting this off your chest and letting her know how you feel. You can either, at this point, is either protecting Coop's feelings or your arm, hence your football career. It's yours to pick. Choose the right one, Spencer. So now we are back at the Baker's residence, and Olivia, she's getting ready for school, I'm assuming. And she walks downstairs, and her mom is making this, cute little breakfast she got going on. And Olivia, she's wanting to know, what's really going on? What's the tea, sis? And Mrs. Baker, she lets Olivia know, hey, it is your 18th month sobriety, chip party or chip breakfast. And Olivia, I think she completely forgot, or she's feeling like shit because she knows she hasn't really been sober since this summer. I think that's when she started drinking. And she kind of blows it off. And Mrs. Baker, she is picking up the signs. I gotta give it to you, Miss Baker. You are on it. You are on it, girl. And it is obvious that something is going on with Olivia. And we got Jordan marching into morning practice as if he wasn't just, diagnosed with a concussion. And Coach Montez, she politely tells him, look, you got to get up out of here. And he was like, why can't I be at practice? What's practice without your QB1, all set to be cleared by Friday. And she was like, look, until you are cleared, JJ is my QB1. Get out of here. I don't even want to see you out there on the field. And, of course, Jordan is feeling some kind of way. And just by the look at his face, we can tell he's going to do something stupid in this episode. Now we have Spencer. He meets up with Chris. And he pretty much wants to know, what's going on, Chris. Like, this is not you. Like, dude, Coach is talking about benching you. Like, let me help you. Tell me what's going on out there. And Chris, he really didn't want to go there with Spencer, and Chris was like, what really made me gave up and just, said forget it and just wanted to quit. And Spencer was like, yeah, he was like, you did that. You put me in the hospital. My last hit was you. And every time I walk out on that field with you as my teammate on those lights, it messes with my mind. And I tried my best not to blame you for that, Spencer, but, that's just the way I feel right now. And Spencer is taken all the way aback because he's kind of in that same situation with, him and his, friend Coop. So, in a sense, that hurt him. But I think him going to that therapy session and actually being in that situation himself, he actually can understand where Chris is coming from. We are back at the Baker's residence. And we have Olivia and Asher. They are supposed to be studying for, I'm assuming, a big test they have coming up. But Asher is just so focused on getting that playbook right for Coach Montez. And Jordan, he's actually coming downstairs to the kitchen to get a snack or whatever. And he overhears, that part about the playbook. And, he makes a remark about, oh, yeah, Coach Asher, first in line, trying to give my, spot away to JJ. And Asher was like, man, I'm just here to help. I'm just trying to help you do this the right way. Concussions can really mess you up. And Jordan, he snaps. He was like, oh, who are you to be talking about the right way? Like maybe doing steroids, or how about giving my playbook to a rival team? Yeah, right? And this is a perfect example of right message, wrong messenger, okay? Now we're going to talk about Olivia for a minute. She has really been acting strange, and Mrs. Baker, she, I have to commend her again. She is really stepping up as, the parent, and she's catching on to all of the signs. And, baby, Miss Baker got a trick up her sleeve. So she talks to Coach Baker. She lets him know that something is going on with Olivia, and she just wants, to know what's going on. And she talking about testing the girl's hair at the lab and, finding out. And he was like, no, let me handle that. So they are out for breakfast, and they cut to the chase. Coach Baker, he asked Olivia, is everything, going fine? And she was like, oh my God, you talked to mom, didn't you? And, he let her know, like, baby, we are just worried about you. Olivia, I got to give it to her. She totally flips the script on him. She brought up the fact about, things not being the same at home and, the separation with, between Billy and Mrs. Baker is fresh, and she was just really, she flipped the script on him and had him thinking that he was tripping. So she got out of that one easy. She got her daddy wrapped around her little finger. So it is today that we find out if Jordan is actually cleared to play in the game. So I'm assuming it's Friday. And they are out, they are running a scrimmage, and he's working and he's working and he's killing it. And we're back in the not waiting room, we're back in the weight room, waiting on his results. And Coach Montez comes in and she's like, congratulations, Baker. You killed it. You're all cleared to play in the game tonight. And she also cleared Asher to play in the game. His suspension is officially over. We are going to get Asher Adams and Jordan Baker out on the field again. So I'm excited about that. But, it's a but coming. So they leave out of the locker room, and we get Jordan. He's going to get something out of his locker. He opens up the locker, and what we see in there: anti-nausea medicine, cancer grade anti-nausea medicine for concussion symptoms. So this boy then actually went out and got cancer grade anti-nausea medicine. It's not funny. Anti-nausea medicine to kill the symptoms of nausea, which is a symptom from a concussion, which he is not over yet. So I hope he be okay. And we have okay, next we have Olivia. She is actually getting ready to go to the game. And as she's leaving home, she walks outside, and her sobriety sister is on the porch. And she's like, hey, what's going on here? What are you doing here? And long story short, the girl, she notices that something is going on with Olivia. And, she also brings up the fact that Olivia did not share in the last few sessions. And she was like, Olivia, I'm an addict. If something is going on, you can talk to me. And Olivia, she was like, I don't know you. We're not friends. I don't know what's going on, but, I'm fine. And the girl was like, Olivia, like, I've been there. So Olivia, she finally, breaks down, and she tells the lady, she was like, look, my addiction is pills, and I'm not doing pills, right? I'm not doing pills. I actually, drink from time to time, and I have it under control. And, her sobriety sister, I think her name is Leslie, she lets her know, if you ever need anyone to talk to, you just, reach out to me, and you are really playing with fire here. I think Olivia kind of knows, you can see it in her face. She knows. Okay, so we are back at South Crenshaw, and it is the night of the big game, and they are in the locker room. It is Franklin Aloysius Mumford and Chris, aka Presto. I think that's his name. Let me stop calling him Franklin. But they are in the locker room, and before the game, and Spencer was like, what are y'all doing here? The game's about to start. Like, what's going on? And Chris, he's kind of upset at the fact that, Spencer kind of put the idea in, Coach Baker's head to rearrange the whole offensive line to actually protect Chris's, blind spots, because not blind spots, but weak spots, because right now he is playing completely scared, and they are, just trying to give him a little bit of extra cushion until he get his confidence back. And Chris, he's really not feeling that because that makes him feel weak because he feels like, his teammates are out there taking hits for him because he can't, buck up and do what he got to do, okay? The next scene, we have Patience strutting all into the game all late, but she's coming bearing good news. She meets up with Coop and she lets her know that, I have good news. The reason I'm late is because I was getting out of my contract with JP. And Coop was really excited and she was like, what? Layla came through as I knew she would. And Patience, she was like, actually, Mo helped me, and we all know that sent Coop off into her little tirade. And she was like, "What now? You owe her? Like, why you had to go and do that? Like, you can't trust her. Like, she's up to something. Like, why'd you have to go and do that?" And Patience was like, "I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, you had to fight for everything in your life, and why can't you just be happy? Like, why you gotta go and look for a fight?" And Coop was like, "I'm not looking for a fight." And Patience was like, "You're not? Like, this lady, Mo, hasn't done anything to you since she's been in town. Besides what? Get preached out of prison, find Spencer shooting, get me out of my contract with JP. Like what's what? Like, she's done nothing but good deeds since she's been here. Like, at this point, you're starting to look a little crazy because the lady ain't did nothing. She ain't doing nothing but trying to help everybody, and you can't seem to get that, through your mind. It's like, let it go. Like, what are you fighting for? What are you looking for? What are you looking to gain? Like, let's say she is here to wreak havoc and cause chaos in the community. What are you gonna do about it? What you knowing is gonna do about it? Anyway, and she was like, "I'll just talk to you later because you tripping." I think it's about time that we sat Tamia Cooper down and had that talk with her because she needs to see therapy. She needs to talk to somebody because, like, the stuff she's pulling right now is borderline cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, baby girl, she needs to talk to somebody ASAP. Back on the field. The Crenshaw Chargers, they are down 17. They have 0 to other team 17 points. And Spencer James, he is out there taking a beating. Do you hear me? He is taking a beating, and they are still a few yards down from where they need to be. And y'all remember when I said Miss Baker had a trick up her sleeve? Okay, so she went ahead on and got Olivia's hair tested, and she calls Olivia to the kitchen, and she talks to her. She's down there apologizing to Olivia like she's done something wrong when the whole time she was in the right. Anyway, so she lets Olivia know. She was like, look, I'm sorry. I broke your trust. I had the hair in your hairbrush tested, and these are the results. And Olivia was like, how could you do that? And she looks at the envelope and she was like, but it's still sealed. It hasn't been opened. And Mrs. Baker, she was like, you know what? I'm sorry. I really don't have any intentions on opening it. I trust you, and I, really wish that you could, look past this and forgive me. And Olivia, she was like, Mom, open it. And Mrs. Baker, she opened it, and she was relieved. She was like, I knew it. And she gave Olivia a hug, and Olivia, she was looking crazy because she knew at this moment, she knew she was caught red-handed. And she took a look at the test results, and everything was negative. And at the very bottom, you see it had alcohol, and it was not tested. And at this moment, Olivia, she's over it. She's ready to confess. And out of nowhere, Mrs. Baker's phone starts going off like the freaking duffel bag, boy. I'm like, lady, what the heck? Put the thing on solid sometimes, okay? Real tea. And we are at the spot that I've been waiting on all night. After the game, Spencer's home. He's on the couch eating cereal. The doorbell rings, and guess who it is? It's Coop. She's there, and she wants to know, what's up with Spencer and the fact, he wasn't really checking for after the game. He did what he had to do, and he dipped. And, she asked him what was going on, and he was like, I'm cool, everything's good. And she was asking about his arm and was his therapy working. And he was like, yeah, we working on it. We working on it. And, Spencer, he really didn't have much to say. But Coop, on the other hand, she just couldn't wait to let off about, the little fight she got into with Patience earlier at the game. And she told Spencer that she let him know that Patience got out of her contract and she got out of it with the help of Mo. And she was like, can you believe her? And she got mad at me, thinking I don't have the right to be upset. And the whole time as Coop's talking, Spencer, he's just sitting there, he's nodding his head, and Coop's going on and on and on about how Patience is tripping because she's saying that she's always, fighting and looking for a fight. And, Coop was like, Spencer, you believe that? Can you believe she said that? And, Spencer, he's just sitting there the whole time, it's become more and more apparent that Coop is toxic, and it is finally sinking in, and you can see it. You can see it. And he was like, yeah, I actually do believe that. That actually does sound like you. And Coop was like, what's going on? Like, is everybody tripping tonight? Like, are we living in the Twilight Zone or something? And, Spencer, he was sitting there and he's going through the motions. You can see he's going through the motions at this point. Because this is something that it's a hard conversation to have with anybody, especially, with somebody that you consider a day one. So he's going through the motions. And he lets her know, he was like, yeah, Coop, that sounds just like you. And he was like, how many times did I tell you don't get involved with Sean, with Tyrone, and the gang life? I told you over and over and over again, and you did it anyway. And I can't trust my own body because of it. And yeah, that's when he let her know, like, I pretty much blame you for me getting shot. And Cooper's like, how can you blame me for that? We already said Tyrone was to blame. And Spencer, at this point, he has tears in his eyes. He's like, yeah, I did say that, but maybe I was wrong. I blame you, Coop. And they are both staring at each other with tears in their eyes. And I'm over here, I'm getting emotional. I kind of feel bad for Coop because even though she's annoying, that was tough to hear. And I know for Spencer that was tough, to say. They were, both there, had tears in their eyes. And I just hope, even though I don't like Coop, I hope her and Spencer's friendship is able to bounce back from this, because that was heavy, That was heavy, y'all. That was heavy. And I cannot wait to, see what the next episode holds for us, because it's getting good, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, it's getting good. And I'm excited to, do these reviews for you guys. But if y'all enjoyed this, if you guys enjoyed this review, please like, comment, and subscribe. And just let me know what y'all think. And I will see you guys for episode